Hello and welcome to another video, and in today's video we will be talking about everything there is to know about VAT, value added tax. So let's get started. Now, most people will probably have heard of VAT. What people might not realize is that a third of all revenue collected by the government comes from VAT. And VAT not only affects businesses but every one of us. When we make a purchase either online or on our high street shops, VAT is a common way for governments to collect money from businesses and consumers without directly taxing their income. It's used in about 140 countries around the world, and despite its importance, it remains one of the least understood of all taxes. Now, let's understand VAT by using an example to understand it better. Imagine there's a company that sells jewelry. They buy seashells from a producer, make the jewelry and then sell it to a distributor who sells it to a retailer, who then sells it to customers. At each step, VAT is added to the price. For instance, if the producer sells shells for £100, they might add £20 in VAT. Then the manufacturer buys the shells, adds value by making them into jewelry and sells them for £200 with £40 in VAT. This process continues until the retailer sells the jewelry to customers for £400 with £80 in VAT. Now, each business in this chain pays VAT based on the difference between the VAT they collected from selling their product and VAT they paid when buying materials or supplies. So they only pay tax on the value they add. Now, for people shopping on the high street, VAT just gets added to the price, and we usually don't give it too much attention. But for businesses, it's a whole different story. VAT might not directly impact their profits, but it's still a big deal for them. Messing up how they handle VAT can cause some serious problems, so this video is focused on businesses, not everyday shoppers. What is VAT? VAT is a tax imposed on most goods and services in the United Kingdom. VAT is a consumption tax that is levied at each stage of the supply chain, as I mentioned earlier, from production to final sale to the consumer. Businesses registered for VAT must charge VAT on the goods and services they supply and pay the VAT they charge to Revenue and Customs. They can also claim back any VAT they have paid on their business expenses. What is the VAT rate? There are 3 rates of VAT chargeable in the UK, and each rate depends on the goods or services being provided. There is the standard rate with a 20% charge, and it's applied to most goods and services. There is the reduced rate with a 5% charge, and it's applied to some goods and services such as home energy, children's car seats, residential property conversions, etc. And then there is zero rate, which obviously the charge is 0%, and apply to most foods and children clothing. Not every sale gets hit with VAT. Some things are either totally exempt or just not included in its reach. Like, you don't gotta pay VAT on stuff like insurance, healthcare, postage stamps, or education, and things like official fees, staff boards and used outside of the UK, and donations to charities. They're all outside the scope of UK VAT. What is the VAT threshold in the UK for 2024-2025? You must register for VAT if your taxable turnover exceeds the VAT threshold. Before the 1st of April 2024, this was £85,000. After the 1st of April 2024, this is now £90,000. Taxable turnover is all turnover generated by sales that are not VAT exempt. Even turnover on which the VAT rate is 0 is classed as taxable turnover. Companies who do not pass this threshold do not need to charge VAT on the sale of their goods or services. They also do not need to register with HM Revenue and Customs, otherwise known as HMRC. This turnover threshold is measured in a rolling 12-month period rather than a fixed period like the tax year. It could be any period of 12 whole months, for example, the start of June until the end of May. Unregistered businesses whose turnover is close to the registration limit should keep an eye on this. There are strict deadlines for submitting the registration and charging VAT. Once you have passed the turnover threshold, registering for VAT affects all sorts of businesses, whether they are companies, partnerships, or sole traders. When you sign up for VAT, HMRC will send you a certificate. This will confirm the VAT number, effective date of registration, and when the first VAT return is due. Keep in mind, if your business makes less money than the threshold, you can still decide to sign up for VAT. It's called voluntary registration. Doing this has some perks, like being able to get back the VAT you paid on stuff you bought, and it makes your customers feel like they can trust your company and see it as a legitimate business. Once you're signed up, your business has to add the right amount of VAT to everything it sells that's taxable. This is called output tax. Even though it's the customers who fork over the VAT money, it's up to your business to handle it over to HMRC. Businesses can typically get back the VAT they paid on stuff they bought for the business, which they call input tax, but there are some things you can't get VAT back on, like entertaining expenses, cars, and for small businesses that aren't companies, stuff bought for personal use. Calculating VAT is pretty simple. If you want to figure out the total price with VAT included, just multiply the price without VAT by 1.2 for the standard 20% rate. For the reduced 5% rate, multiply by 1.05 instead. And if you're trying to find out the price without VAT, just divide the total price including VAT by 1.2 for the standard rate or by 1.05 for the reduced rate. Now, what is a VAT return? VAT registered businesses must report the amount of output tax and input tax to HMRC via a VAT return. This is usually completed every quarter. Most VAT registered businesses with a turnover over £85,000 or since the 1st of April 2024, £90,000 must also follow the rules for making tax digital MTD for VAT. These rules were introduced in April 2019. How can businesses find their VAT number? VAT number is a special code given to a business owner if their company is registered for VAT. It's also called a VAT registration number. This number is 9 digits long and typically begins with GB. HMRC gives out a certificate with the VAT number on it. It's super important to make sure to use the right VAT number whenever businesses are sending in their VAT returns. Messing it up can slow things down, and HMRC might not let the business claim back the VAT they paid. Here's how to see if a company is registered for VAT. You can hop onto the UK government website and use the service. It helps you see if a VAT registration number is legit. Plus, you can find out the business's name and address linked to that number. Just remember, you can't use it to keep track of when you've checked a UK VAT number before. VAT penalties. Registering for VAT is something you've got to do by law. If you don't follow the rules, you could face penalties and in serious cases even go to jail. HMRC might slap you with a penalty if you register late. They calculate it based on a percentage of the VAT you owe. That's the money you collected minus what you paid out, starting from when you should have registered until HMRC knows you should have been registered. The rate of penalty depends on how late you were in registering. If registered no more than 9 months late, penalty rate is 5%. If registered more than 9 months but not more than 18 months late, penalty rate 10%. If registered more than 18 months late, penalty rate 15%. HMRC can hit you with extra fees if they don't get your VAT return or full payment on time. These fees can be as much as 15% of the VAT you owe when it's due. They can also hand out penalties of up to 100% of any tax you didn't report correctly or claim too much of if your returns aren't accurate. Can you claim VAT back in the UK? If you use stuff only for your businesses, like computers or office furniture, you can usually get the VAT back. That includes costs from outside vendors like accountants. But if you're using things for yourself or for entertaining clients, you can't reclaim the VAT on those. To get your VAT money back, you have to do a VAT return every 3 months. You figure out the difference between the VAT you paid and the VAT you charged customers during that time. The process of reclaiming VAT is complex, and there are many exceptions, exemptions, and caveats to consider. What items are not subject to VAT? Many goods and services are exempt from VAT, but there are often items within a goods or service category for which VAT is chargeable. For example, food and drink is generally zero rated for VAT. Exceptions to this include hot food, crisps, alcohol, drinks, confectionery, and soft drinks. Many of these exceptions have exceptions of their own. Do charities have to deal with VAT? If a charity or its trading arms make enough sales to pass the UK VAT threshold, they've got to sign up for VAT, just like any other business. Once registered, they got to add VAT to stuff they sell, just like everyone else. But hey, there's a chance they could get relief from VAT on certain things and even get some of it back from HMRC. Let's talk about properties and VAT. When it comes to buying or selling property, VAT rules cover a whole lot of situations. Depending on the situation, transactions can fall into different categories. They might be exempt, zero rated, reduced rated, or standard rated. Buying and selling property, whether it's residential, commercial, or for charity, involves different sets of rules. Whether you're dealing with construction, renovation, or conversion, each situation has its own considerations. With commercial properties, there might be a bit of leeway, but it's crucial to choose the right approach from the start because mistakes can be costly. Property deals often involve big sums of money, so messing up the VAT treatment could hit your wallet hard. So, that was everything you need to know about VAT. Hope you found this video helpful. If you did, then subscribe and give the video a like. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below and take care.